and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today I am here to share the 8 books that I read in January, as well as a little like statistics type of thing involving my reading planner. So in 2024, one thing that I wanted to do was document my reading. In 2023, I have no idea how many books I read. I don't have like a lot of them physically, and I didn't keep track of them on Goodreads or in my planner or anything like that, so I honestly have no idea how many I read. I'm also really bad about like remembering what books are about and sharing my reading, so I thought in 2024 I'm going to get a book planner that is dedicated almost solely to like documenting what I'm reading, and I'm also going to get better about sharing them. So that is what we're doing today. I feel like I share a lot on Instagram, so if you want more like real-time reading, like what I'm reading, what I thought about certain things, just like more lifestyle stuff, Instagram is the place to be. But I will be sharing a wrap-up of all my reading for each month also here. So that is what we're doing today. This is, by the way, the 2024 Undated planner by Little Inklings. It's called the Always Fully Booked Planner, and I have been loving it. It's nice because there's lots of book related items in here, but also great places to document like your plans for family and work and all the stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna really quickly talk to you guys about the books that I read in January, and then we're gonna flip to like more of a top-down view so I can show you guys filling in some of the stats for my planner. I started off the month reading on my Kindle. So I got a Kindle a while back, and I have been taking full advantage of Kindle Unlimited and books through my library. I feel like I have, except for January because I bought quite a bit of books, but before that I was not buying books at all. I was just reading whatever I could get on my Kindle, which saves a ton of money, and there weren't any like crazy books that I like was super drawn to get. There was no huge releases or anything like that, and if there were releases I would pick them up. You'd probably see Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Obviously picked those two up, but I've been really using my Kindle whenever I can to save money on books, because I love having a little library, but it's not super necessary to have every single book that you read like physically. The Kindle also comes in handy a lot when it comes to traveling or just like, you know, reading on the go. So that also helps. But I will have everything that I'm showing you guys and talking about in a lot of these types of videos in my Amazon storefront if you want to pick up like all the stuff that I use. So I started off the month finishing up Snowed In by Catherine Walsh. This is a book that is more of a Christmassy romance. A few years back I read a book that was a Christmas romance, and it was about baking, and I loved it. So for Christmas time I wanted to go ahead and read another Christmas related book. I believe I gave that book, let me look at the review section. I gave that book 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It has the whole fake dating type of setup. They also knew each other from like childhood, which is kind of cool. But I think the reason why I gave it 4 stars instead of 5 mostly has to do with the fact that I read it over a long period of time. I started it way before Christmas and I didn't finish it until January 1st. And for me, usually a book is like a couple days, and so that was just spanned out over a long period of time. I feel like to be really invested in books, I have to read them like pretty close together. So anyway, I enjoyed it. Again, fake dating, and it was set in Ireland, which was kind of cool. So if you like the fake dating type of situation, if you like Christmassy books, definitely a good one to pick up. Next, I read A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This is a book that I've seen everywhere. I've seen so many people talk about this, and I gave this book 4 stars. It was very, very sad. So if you don't want to be sad, if you're not like mentally in a space to be sad, don't read this book. I loved the relationship that Rune and Poppy had. I thought it was super sweet, the fact that they met each other so young and loved each other for like such a long period of time. I feel like it's just not super common to like meet your person in like elementary school, but they were super sweet together. Obviously it's a sad book. I'm not going to talk about why it's sad. It's a sad book. And then the epilogue is what just kind of like honestly kind of pissed me off. I was not happy with the epilogue because I'm like, why? Like, why? So if you've read it, you probably know what I'm talking about. And honestly, I know that there's going to be a second book, or there is a second book about Poppy's sister. I don't think that I'm going to read it. I'm glad that I read 1,000 Boy Kisses, and I feel like after seeing it so many times, I had to read it, but I'm not interested in anymore. So yeah, I gave that 4 stars. I would recommend reading it if you want to read it. It is available on Kindle Unlimited, so a great thing if you have Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, I just don't think that I would continue reading like Poppy Sister's point of view. I got what I needed from that book, and that's about it. The third book that I read in January was Love Redesigned. That was through Kindle Unlimited as well, and that is by Lauren Asher. Lauren Asher also wrote the Dreamland Billionaire series, like Terms and Conditions, all those books. I read those in 2023, like the end of 2023. Also, I believe on Kindle Unlimited. Love Redesigned, I feel like was so hyped up everywhere. I saw so many people talking about Love Redesigned. So I just had this like expectation. And don't get me wrong, it was good. I gave it 3 stars. I think it was solid. I think it was good. But I didn't think it was like amazing. I don't think it changed a ton for me. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do anything crazy. Let me just see if there's anything like specific that I should mention. Oh, one complaint that I have regarding this book is that I felt like I got like halfway in and there was still like no, like, you still weren't even picking up on the romance part. And this book is 530 pages. So like, it is a long book. And maybe that's why I didn't like it. I thought that maybe it was a little slow to begin with, but I said maybe if I would recommend, like in the little prompt that says, would you recommend? I said maybe. Let me know if you've read it, what you think. Next book that I read, again, Kindle Unlimited. This was Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, and I've read a bunch of her books. You could probably see some on my bookshelf. This is a YA, although I wouldn't say that it necessarily felt like a YA, like 1,000 Boy Kisses or another book that I'm going to mention in a couple minutes. Check and Mate had like real life problems. Not like that 1,000 Boy Kisses didn't, but I just felt like what the girl was going through, what Mallory was going through, was like so real, so relatable, at least for me, that I really liked it. I loved the chess dynamic. I thought that was super cool. I've always loved Allie's books, so I'm not surprised. I gave it 4 stars, and I just tore that book up. It was perfect, especially after Love Redesigned, where I was just not vibing with it too much. I really liked Check and Mate. And although I read it on my Kindle, I feel like that's one where I would not mind picking that up just to have, because I've already have some of her other books. So I liked it. I would definitely recommend. Solid read. The last book that I read on my Kindle was If He Had Been With Me. I gave that book 3 stars. And let's see what I said. This is what I wrote under the thought section. The ending was tragic. Why, after all that, did he have to... Why did everything have to happen the way that it did? And then I said the last 25% of the book is why I rated it as high as I did. I feel like the book in general, with 2 situations, was very like health class centric. Like, if you've read it, you probably know what I mean, but a couple of the things that happen in the book, and I'm not going to spoil it, but a couple of things that happened in the book, it just felt very like health class. Like, if you've read it, you know what I mean. I feel like from someone who has dealt with certain situations, I didn't like that. I don't like if Macy or Mila read that book, I just feel like it is very much like a health class type of book. But yeah, I said maybe for that one as well. I gave it 3 stars. I like seeing them together, but yeah, I don't know. And I think that one also has another book that said If She Had Been With Me, but I'm not going to read that either. I just don't feel the need to do that. I don't know. I just don't. So those are all of the books that I read on my Kindle. All, I think, through Kindle Unlimited or the library. In general, I feel like I had a really solid month with Kindle books, and as soon as I get through the series that I'm going to talk about next, I will talk about or like get back into some Kindle books and doing the whole Kindle Unlimited and trying to get stuff through my library. Then after I finished If He Had Been With Me, I was like, okay, I need something super different. I can't keep reading these super sad books. And so I picked up A Court of Thorns and Roses. I got this at Target, and I read this book so fast and I loved it, which is so funny because I feel like a lot of people, and this is by Sara J. Maas, I feel like a lot of people do not like this book and they say that it's like the worst out of all of them. I loved it, and I've loved every single book since. I have rated every single one 5 stars. I think besides Fourth Wing, I don't have much experience reading fantasy. I, of course, read like Twilight and some of those like dystopian type of books back in the day. But in terms of reading like other types of fantasy lately, I really haven't. So I think that's kind of what drew me in, is I love fantasy, or I love romance, and then the fantasy was just mild enough where like I could stay caught up with what's going on. So Court of Thorns and Roses, the main characters are Freya, I don't know. And then the guy is like Tamlin. This book was kind of crazy, and then I feel like I knew instantly reading this book that I was going to read the rest of the series. Sometimes I read it and I'm like, I read the first book and I'm like, no, I'm good. But this one I was like, okay, for sure, going to keep reading. So I read this one, and then I moved on to A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the one that a lot of people love. This is a lot of people's favorite. I also really liked it. One difference is I started annotating the book because this one had a lot more like world building in it, and I felt like I needed to start keeping track of names and stuff if I was going to keep reading the series and like knowing what was going on. I honestly should have done it with the first book as well, but I just didn't even think to do it, and I could always go back and do it later. So anything in the yellow is going to be like information about some of the characters or like some of the fairies, like the lesser fairies, because I couldn't keep track of like which one did what and all of that. And then the blue is going to be stuff that I thought was a really good quote. I shared 1 or 2 already on Instagram of just like a quote that I really liked, but I feel like a lot of these books have quotes that are just super inspiring and stuff. I mean, they're going through a lot. I guess I didn't even really go into what they're about. I feel like you can kind of get that feeling by just reading the description and all of that. I don't want to give anything away by talking about what they're about, because the thing is, if you are on this book and I tell you what this book is about, you're gonna know what's happening. So if you are interested in what they're about, I would definitely recommend just kind of reading what this is about, and then don't look in too far to the other ones. Like, here's an example of a quote that I really loved. It was about Moore, who is a character in this book. It says, "A special strength in enduring such dark trials and hardships, and still remaining warm and kind, still willing to trust and reach out." I feel like that's super true. You know, usually when you go through bad stuff, it's hard to be a good person and to be kind, and I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the quotes are very relatable. So I got into annotating, whether it be important information or with like quotes that I liked. I read this book pretty quickly, and then I moved on to A Court of Wings and Ruin. Again, annotating. And also I brought in a third color for this one because I started realizing that there was some information that was like, I didn't realize at first, but it was kind of leading to stuff that was happening. So I highlighted or like annotated that as well. I am on the third book right now, or the fourth book, sorry. It's like a novella, and I just started it yesterday. Haven't gotten too far into it, but I'm definitely planning to finish the series. And then I think I have one book that I want to read that's like more of a, not like self-help, or it's more of like a self-development type of book. I picked it up a while ago. And then I want to move on to a Throne of Glass, which is another big long series by Sarah J. Maas. And I think ultimately I would like to read Crescent City. I did try to read Crescent City. I have it back there at one point, but I think I just didn't know enough about the world and all of this stuff. So I think I'm gonna take another stab at that when I'm done with Throne of Glass. But I think Throne of Glass is gonna be what I'm reading in February for the most part, after I finish ACOTAR. So yeah, it's gonna be a big fantasy month for me, but I'm obsessed at this point. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do when I finish all of these books, especially like I was tearing through the books and having such a great time, loving everything. But as soon as I got to this book, I was like, I want to slow down a little bit because pretty soon this is going to be over. Like, their story is going to be over and I'm going to be so sad. And I think the reason why I'm not so sad right now, even though I finished this book, is because the next book still has some stuff about them. Again, if I tell you the characters, it could ruin the first book. So I'm not going to do that. But I think since I still am going to have them for another like 2 books, I'm not super sad. And I know that Sara is still potentially going to write more books for this series, so that's something to look forward to. But yeah, I think that these books may ruin me for reading. I think I've been reading so much and loving these books so much that at some point, I think the series is going to be over and I am not going to be able to read anything for a while. So at least I'm 8 books in, starting out in the year. My goal is to read 50, so we got a nice chunk of them done. But yeah, those are all the books that I read in January. So I'm going to now flip you around. I know it's already been very long. I'm gonna flip you guys around, fill in some of my book schedules for my planner. And again, if you want to see more book content, see more like real time what I'm reading, when I'm reading, like little tips and tricks about my planner and the stickers I'm using in the planner, all of that, definitely check out Instagram. That's the best place to find all of it. But yeah, I would say it's been a very successful month so far. And I am super excited to continue, especially with this series, and continuing to kind of share some of the stuff with you guys, my thoughts on things, how I'm doing certain things when it comes to my planner, and reading new fantasy, because it's still very new to me. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the planner and into filling everything out. All right, guys, so here we are. All ready and set for the planner section of this video. So thank you so much if you've stuck around this far. I promise I'll get a little bit better every single month with like summarizing the books and just doing this whole process. So let's go ahead. We're gonna go through and just write in all of my reading stats for the the month of January. So one thing that I kind of want to do is, I'm debating if I should like use highlighters for it, draw it in, or just keep it simple and do it this way. I think I may just keep it simple. So I have some scripts. This is my little script sticker storage. So everything you see me using sticker wise or see in my planner, it's from my shop. This is the 2024 monthly stickers for 2024 monthly stickers. You can see I've used quite a bit of them. So I'm just gonna put January right here, and then we can kind of start filling in some of the details. So for January, I read 8 books total. So we can go ahead and put in 8. Total number of pages. That's very interesting. And I don't think that I have that information. So I'm gonna have to go and look and then write them down and add them all up. So let's do that really quickly together. All right, so snowed in. Is there an easy way to see how many pages by looking here? To book details. 384. All right, I'm gonna take an old sticker sheet. So this is 384. And then 1,000 boy kisses. 370. Love redesigned was 530. Check and mate was 362. If he had been with me was 397. A quart of thorns and roses was 419. And this is something that I should just be better about doing every single time I read a book, is just writing this information down. A quart of Mist and Fury was 626 pages. And the last book, A Quart of Wings and Ruin, was a total of 703 pages. So if you're wondering how I figured that out, let me just kind of show you. So these are all the books that I read in 2024. I'm clicking on the book, and then I go down to book details right here, and then it'll say paperback and then 703. That's kind of how I found it, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so let's add all these guys up. So 384, 370, 530, 362, 397, 419, 626, and 703. So that's a total of 3,791 pages. I'm just gonna double check, because if you've watched some of my budget videos, you know, when you're doing math on camera, especially if it's just writing or like typing in something on a calculator, it's very easy to mess up. I want this number to be accurate. 703, 3791. So number of pages, 3,791. Crazy. That's a lot. I'm gonna write pages next to it. Okay, so in terms of books, I read 3 books. Is that correct? Yeah, 3 and then 5. 3 and 5 ebooks, 0 audio. I didn't DNF any. And then for the star ratings, let's flip to, so I have 3 5 stars, 3 5. I have 1 2 3 4 stars, and 1 2. 2 3 stars. So the average rating would be 2 plus 3 plus 3 divided by 8. Wait. I think I'd have to do 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 3 plus, oops, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 3 divided by 8. So my average rating would be 4.125. 4.125. So not too bad. I didn't have any books that were like terrible. So can't ask for anything better than that. Isn't that cool though, just to see all of that info like in one spot? I think it's pretty cool. So at the end of the year, I'll be able to see every single month how many books I read, how many pages. I'll get to see how much I'm utilizing my Kindle, all the stuff. Super cool. I think it's awesome to get to track all of this and like see it combined with other stuff. So we have all of that. I have already filled in, oh, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna do this. I might do this at a different time because I don't know how people normally use it. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fill this in with you guys at a different time. I feel like there's some pages that I still haven't utilized and I have all the info, so I'm not super worried about it, but I have been filling in my workout tracker. So this is my goals tracker. My goal is to read 50 books. So I'm using this page to mark how much I've used like my Kindle and then regular books. Kind of a cool tracker there. Here are my workouts. The last part of January I didn't do so hot, but we just had so much going on. So I'm just gonna continue on with it. And then I'm also doing kind of a weight loss tracker. I'm not super big on it. I feel like my goal has always been to like gain muscle and get stronger. So not a ton of progress between January and February, but we're all good there. And then I guess I'll just kind of show you guys, walk through January, because I don't know if I'm gonna film a video where I get to do this with you guys. So here's the monthly view. This is a sticker that I offer in my shop because the normal monthly view would look like this and it's just not enough space for my family's needs. I did put in like what book I was reading on what day, so you can kind of see how long it took me to read certain books. And for a long period of time during the month, I was putting in how many pages I read per day. I don't think that's something that I'm gonna continue doing going forward. It's just not something that I need to see, but I will continue to do like what book I'm reading when. I think that's cool to see. Books that I wanted to read 1,000 Boy Kisses, which I did. If He Had Been With Me, I did. Love Redesigned, I did. I didn't read Flock or The Kiss Quotient, but that's okay. There were no new releases, so that's just blank. And then here is like New Year's Eve week. Mila turned 4, so I thought this kit would be cute to use. Then we have New Year's week, week 2, week 3, week 4, and then here are some other pages related to January. So here's a book haul section. I also decorated it because I have to. I love stickers. So I purchased all of the Court of like ACOTAR books. So Court of Thorns and Roses, Court of Mist and Fury. I bought Why Has No One Told Me, and that's a book that I'm gonna read after I finish ACOTAR, and then the rest of the ACOTAR books. So you can kind of see where I bought them, when. Just a kind of cool thing. You could also put price if that is something you want to. I don't feel the need to like document that. I have that in other places. So here are the books that I read. Again, Snowden, 1,000 Boy Kisses, Love Redesigned, Check and Mate, If He Had Been With Me. The pink represents romance, and then the K means I did it on my Kindle. This tan color is all fantasy, and I read like a paperback book, so I did not put the K there. And then let's fill in some of this reading stats information. So total number of books read, 8. Average rating was 4.125. Pages read, it was 3,791 pages. I did 3 print books, 5 ebooks, and 0 audio. And for the best book, I'm gonna put ACOTAR series. Because I loved that series. Genres read, we did romance and fantasy. So I have my highlighters here. So I'm just gonna like put in little lines. And then write in, we did 5 romance and 3 fantasy. So kind of a cool way to document that. You can also get those numbers from here because I'm using the highlighters for that. I didn't read any books that were thrillers, which is kind of crazy because that's something that I got really big into. I feel like the last half of last year, I was reading a lot of like Frida McFadden books, but now I feel like I'm in this fantasy thing. So I don't know when I'll get time. I feel like there's so many books that I want to read. But I know that ACOTAR in the series is like romantasy is what people call it. I'm gonna consider it a fantasy because it is very different from the normal romance that I would read. But that is pretty much it in terms of filling in my book planner. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to see a little bit of the behind the scenes and like what I am filling out and like the progress that I've made. I feel like January was a great reading month for me. I'm super excited to keep going in February, and I feel like it's so fun getting to use this planner and make it my own. I love using my stickers. I have a link down below if you want to purchase stickers for my shop. A lot of these stickers are designed for other planners, but I'm able to use them by just making some little tweaks here and there. So if you are good with that and you want to purchase some stickers, definitely use the link down below. But that is it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this little wrap up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.